Hello everybody, welcome to Ageless Rock, a channel for megalithic fans with megalithic perceptions because we wear megalithic lens. Today, we are going to an island in the far east of the North Pacific Ocean to check out some megalithic remnants in the Republic of Palau. We learned from mainstream that Austronesians from Taiwan migrated to Palau also eventually reached all the way to Easter Island, which is on the other side of the planet from this view, but mysteriously missed Australia. It seems like they only like land area invisible from the moon. Their favorite hobby is canoeing, and they were obsessed with exploring what is beyond the sea horizon. This seemingly tiny island is a sovereign island country made up of 340 islands. It is in the Micronesia region but is not part of the Federated States of Micronesia. It is on the west of Micronesian states, close to Melanesia. To the north of Micronesia is Guam Island, where nearby Tinian and Rota Islands have mysterious megaliths. Pohnpei and Kosrae Islands on the east of Micronesia also have their own megalithic mysteries. By now, I am inclined to believe that ancient Austronesians are like Popeye. They have big strong arms so that they can canoe all over the Pacific Ocean. Once they found an island that they like, they will start to chisel bedrock into things that they don't need. But more mysterious about Palau is that it is a straight line to Guam Island passing through Yap Island. I wish someone is talking about this line, which I would consider a ley line. There is no specific megalithic size I can use to be more accurate. If these three islands can be sailed in a straight line and was actually used by the unknown ancient builders, then it is worth further investigating. The entire land area of Palau Islands combined is about 460 square kilometers and it stretches all the way down southwest to Hatobohe and Helen Reef. The largest island itself is Babel Daob and is approximately 330 square kilometers. I hope that clears some confusions about the size. Europeans came to know about Palau Islands for the first time in 1522 when Ferdinand Magellan sighted Sonsorol Islands. In 1696, Paul Cryan from Czechs drew the map based on the description by a group of Palauans who had their ship wrecked in Samar Islands of Philippines. It wasn't until 1710 Francisco Padilla, a Jesuit, became the first European to set foot on the island. Back in 1788, you can tell from the drawing that Palau, known as Palau in recent past, was once a rather primitive civilization by comparison to the Western world. Stone Age civilization carrying basalt from another unknown location is a story very hard to sell. There are many reasons to visit Palau for megalithic fans. The monolithic stones might be the first on your bucket list. They are in Babel Daob Island, which is an island divided into 16 states. These stones have been here at Nga Chilong State to the north of Babel Daob since 161 AD. These stones here are called Badru Chow monoliths because it is in Badru Chow. I am not sure if it is a village or hamlet, but it is the name to use if you want to get some directions to reach here. It is said to have 52 stone monoliths in Palau, but you can see 38 of them in Badru Chow and Koro. These basalt monoliths are not from this island because Palau is basically a limestone island with volcanic origin. We still have yet to find out where they came from. They are about 1 meter wide and some are about 1 meter thick and can be as tall as 2 meters. Some stones are estimated to be up to 5 tons. These two stones caught my attention because they have a semicircle shape on the top, like as if they were meant to hold something. These two monoliths with a curve just add to the mystery. This stone with protrusion confirms my belief that they were made by the unknown ancient builders just like those around the world. This is not a mortise and tenon by design for construction, because if it is, there will be half the number of stones with protrusions and the other half will be a hole in it for it to fit in. Stone monoliths are believed to be for the foundation of a bai building where every village will have a bai. In the early 1900s, there were about 100 bai houses. Bai is the most important building in a village. It is richly painted with stories of legends. Although the chiefs are men and meetings are among men, Palauans actually practice a matriarchal culture where women plays the more important role for inheritance issues. The oldest Bai house is in Airai village in Airai state and is therefore called Airai Bai. It is more than 100 years old and has wooden materials 180 years old. It is 21 meters long, 6 meters wide, and 12 meters high. It sits on the top of a basalt rock platform, which seems to sit on one layer of basalt rock. But where are the monolithic pillars? This is a strange idea, especially basalt stone is not local to Palau. The idea that Bai House sits on Badru Chow stones doesn't stand up to the argument because almost 2000 years ago, Palauans were very much Stone Age inhabitants. A solid wooden house is already challenging enough. It is an assumption yet to be proven. It is as good as believing in Delorok, the mythical money bird that brings good fortune to the village. You can find them at four corners of Bai House. Bai House is believed to be the meeting place of the gods. Stone monoliths and Bai houses are sacred to Palauans. If stone monoliths are pillars of a Bai house, I think modern metal drums would not be used even for a temporary support. Basalt would have been imported and shipped from somewhere. If monoliths were meant to be upright, then the short groove on this stone will be on the side. To say this was once a pillar of a house will not make sense. As you can see from the photo, the Palauans already had stone or concrete materials inferior to basalt and they were happy about it. The modern pillars were of equal height on a level ground. Badru Chow monoliths came in different width and height, shows that the unknown ancient builders had other things in mind. Many of the stone monoliths came with faces carved on the side. Legends say these monoliths are sacred because they are for prayers where heaven meets the earth. The legends also seem to say that the gods made these pillars as foundation for meetings of heavenly beings. There are 38 monoliths with human faces. If they were meant to be human faces, then it is definitely an abstract art. I wonder why every time they do these awesome activities, they don't carve a real human face of someone important or famous people like we do for Beethoven or Albert Einstein. Why every time we ask the locals, they seem to have no clue and never fail to say it is sacred. Stone monoliths with a face is probably a clue to the original ancient builders because they seem to depict a creature that looks like human but yet it is clearly not human. If it is meant to be human, then the eyes, nose and mouth is definitely out of proportion. This particular stone seems to share a common feature of a face that also appears in other places such as Sumbawa and Bada Valley in Indonesia and even in Pucharo in Peru. If this was done by unknown ancient tools, then it must be some form of abstract arts. It cannot be ignored that House of Taga in Tinian Island, Rota stones in Rota Island, and lettuce stones in Guam Island all have rectangular pillars and we do not have a clue what they are for. Rice stones are sacred to indigenous people before and after the US dollar were accepted as legal tender. They have the same value before and after Christianity was introduced. We still have no clue about monoliths before and after Europeans rediscovered megalithic world of the Pacific. Maybe if we find out why the unknown ancient builders chose these three islands you can travel in a straight line, we will be able to understand what is all this about. In Palau, there is a basalt rock with petroglyph at the base of an earthwork at Oba Kaldi Raol in Nga Raat state. It is known as the oldest rock in Palau. It has triangular drawings we have yet to decipher. Legend says this is a marker for Suraj, a girl who fell in love with Tule. It is a love story with a tragic end, but the truth of its existence remains a mystery. There are several cave sites with human bones being excavated and studied, but the controversial cave site is in Uchiliongs. It is another mystery to add to the mystery list. The human bones found at Uchiliongs cave are smaller than normal humans. The tallest is 1.4 meters, while the rest is about 1 meter tall. For now, we call them little people. They are described as small body with large teeth, small face, and reduced chins. It is believed that they suffered insular dwarfism due to several reasons, most likely due to lacking in predators. But that is a theory that says if a population is isolated, it will change in size and adapt. The little people of Palau have been buried here for about 1,500 to 3,000 years. It occurred in such a short period of time. I wonder if all evolutionists can agree to this in this case. There are over 1,000 bones from Uchiliongs and 87 from Omidokel from an excavation done in 2006. The controversy arises from recent discoveries by Jessica Stone and her colleagues is that the little people were not living in isolation and there were plenty of marine food and forest vegetation. So this mainstream insular dwarfism theory is debunked by mainstream and little people remains a mystery. Let's sit back and ponder for a moment. A depiction of Abatuli, king of Palau, shows a very primitive civilization. He had a stone tool on his left shoulder. The photo of villagers with their chiefs just a century ago proves they don't need to move mountains to have fruits and taro in their baskets. I am certain they were friendly when the Europeans arrived, just as certain as they don't need shoes. Therefore, I am certain they were not carving stones with clamshells. However, I am certain humans are the greatest threat to megalithic sites. Palau may be tiny and insignificant for economy, but the military had a different view. It is extremely important to launch attack or defend a country before the enemies get too close. Peleliu of Palau was the battleground of one of the most vicious battles humans had ever seen. Approximately 12,000 Japanese and 2,000 Allied forces lost their lives during World War II in Peleliu Island alone. What a display of confidence to the friendly Palauans when foreigners showed up and say, "Greetings, we come in peace." Well, that's all for today as far as monoliths are concerned. But there are a few more mysteries about this island that I will cover in my next video. I hope you enjoyed this short presentation on Palau Island and see you next time in my next video and have a wonderful day. This is Berniong signing out. Ma Uruyul.